All right. So the definition of goal is the end toward which effort is directed, and another one is the terminal point of a race. All right. So now I'm gonna read you the scripture, and this is what really brought this home to me, and then I'll get your ask you a couple questions. So Hebrews 12:1 and 2 says, "Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God." Now, um, I I read you that, and I sell that because like goal setting to me, especially as I kind of looked at this last week, goal setting need to have some great value. So tell me about your goal setting. What how does it play into your life?
I'd have to go back to the 90s when I first understood goal setting. I was working for a real estate company, and I was selling. Just wasn't the top producer, and I discovered goal setting, and I thought, well, let me try it. So I remember it was August 1st. I hope it was August 1st, but it seems like it was August 1st. So I started writing my goals down at night and focusing on them before I started. And it's interesting because as I fast forward to today, I understand the concept of winning the night is important to win the day. So some people get up early and review their goals. For me, I'm best at night. So when I go to sleep, I'm already focused on what I need to accomplish for the next day. So when I wake, everything that I'm intending to do that day is already clear. So anyway, I started in August in the 90s. I believe it was 97. And by 95, 96, yep, it was 97, August 97. By the end of the 1997, I was a top agent. And so it was just as simple as writing down what it was I was wanting to accomplish the next goal. I think the idea is to just be intentional and know what it was that I was wanting to accomplish. So that's when it started for me in the 90s.
Okay, so the 90s. So we're talking about nearly at this point 30 years. So tell me, what has goal setting, since that you said it became a top producer, so what other things have you garnered from goal setting besides just being number one?
It just helps me to understand and clarify what it is that I'm wanting to accomplish the next day. And
Okay.
Giving thought to it. And I do it before the end of my day, and then again when I say the end of my work day. So I'm a daytimer guy. I like to write things down. Some people use digital, so they'll put it in their phone. I like to have a daytimer, so my daytimer is always in front of me. So my goals for that day are always in front of me. And then I also have access to future dates. So if there's things that I need to accomplish in the future, I have easy access for writing them down. And I know I keep them all in the same place. The advantage also is, for some reason, if you don't get one of those goals accomplished the day that you had planned, those goals move to the next day. And I've got some dear friends who say the same thing. It's so interesting. It's not a new concept, and it's not a difficult concept. It's just having them written down. There's something about writing them down, I believe, that psychologically prepares you for accomplishing that specific goal or that task.
That's good because Habakkuk 2:2 says write them down on tablets. So talking about writing your goals down, what you want, writing the vision down. And so how do you come to clarity of your vision? Like how do you come to there?
When you're saying clarity of vision, share
Like
with me.
okay, whenever you're going to set a goal, like how do you come like what purpose is that? What like when you say okay, I want to accomplish X, like is there something that predetermines why you're going after that?
It could be, it could be many things. I mean, it could be something as simple as I want to help my mother do some uh, home improvements,
Mhm.
and so that becomes a goal, and then your life kind of shifts around that particular goal. When now you start to come in focus. Okay, you have a goal, you've set a goal. Now you have to clarify how to accomplish that goal. So there's goals, and Brian Tracy says it great. There's a difference between goal setting and goal planning.
Hmm.
So you set that goal, then you have to create a plan for how to accomplish the goal. So it could be anything from wanting to help my mother out to personal development where I need to work on a specific character or quality for my family. For instance, learning more tolerance or patience. Now during the COVID-19, I'm having to homeschool more, so it maybe it's uh, learning second grade or fifth grade math again. So it's or social studies. How do I help them with that? So I'm and it's funny because we're at the end of spring break and today starts a new week. Well, last night I went on to their website to see what it was that we were supposed to accomplish today.
Hmm.
And kind of threw me off because they don't have their assignments. So I wasn't able to prepare them or me for what we can expect for today. So you kind of have to shift. Sometimes maybe you don't have the things that the tools that you need or the information that you need to prepare the night before. So you get up and you start the next day. But having that, writing them down is, for me, has been a huge um, aspect of goal setting because it's a clearly defined goal. It's kind of like if you're going on vacation. If you go on vacation, you probably have a destination in mind. You probably have you'd have a map so that you know how to get there. Well, now we have Google, but I bet people when they go on vacation, if they're going somewhere they've never been, they probably use Google Maps so they know how to get there. So as you had mentioned in the definition, the terminal point to the race. Well, if we don't know where we're going, how do we know how to get there? So
Right.
it gives you a feeling of comfort to know I understand where I'm going and I know how to get there.
That's great. That's great. I'm going to share my screen with you and something that you and I talk about often. And maybe you can tell it. Does this, see if this comes up. Do you, okay, I don't know how, do you see that life wheel?
Yes.
Okay. And so, because we've talked about that, does any of this help with, like when you have this life wheel, does this help you at all? Or is this do any of these areas come about whenever you're goal setting?
I use those a lot ever since you shared that with me. So it's a great tool. I think it's very important to have a life wheel simply because it shares balance. How balanced are you? Um, and if you've got too much focus on one of the areas, by having a life wheel, again, it's having something in front of you that you can kind of score how well you're doing in your goals. But if you'll show that again, I think it's so important to share a life wheel. This may be a new concept to people. It was to me when you introduced it to me, and everyone that I've shared it with loves it. It helps you balance your life. So those areas, family, recreation, love, which is your relationships, spiritual, physical, mental, that they all play a role in a well-balanced life. So if you're looking for well-being and satisfaction, I believe you will find great benefit in having a life wheel. Now, each person's life wheel may look a little bit different as far as filling in what each of those are, but it's a great starting point for balance in your life.
So let's see if I can share that again. It's not showing up in my share screen. So maybe another time, whenever we discuss it, we can throw it up, because I agree, because one of the things that like Colossians talks about, whatever you do, whether in word or in deed, do it all to the glory of God. So when I think about like how I direct my goals, is kind of like what you and I have talked about for a long time, for at least the last year, is, like, because I was thinking about like what goals do I set and why? What is my why to my goals? And my why has in the past been geared towards what can I get? What can I accomplish? And it was kind of like I was running that race, and the race felt empty, even though there would be goals that I would accomplish. And so I'm like, going, why is this? Why do I feel this tension and feel this emptiness when I'm accomplishing? And I thought, well, man, it's like I'm wanting to finish my race. My race is what my life. I want to finish that race and press on towards a goal of, what Paul talks about, pressing on towards the goal, finishing the race. And I wanted to go, okay, when I finish my life, what do I want it to look like? I want God to go, well done, my good and faithful servant. And so you and I, 2 years ago, started having a conference call that made us better, that helped us to press on towards that goal of finishing well. And so, you and I both have said, we're going to set apart the morning to seek God. So that's where I'm going, okay, so my goal and intentions of every morning, because you mentioned intention earlier. So my intention is I get up early, sometimes 4:30, sometimes 5, sometimes 5:30, with the intention of making that first. And that really has given my day more peace. Have you found, like, the way you approach goal setting, has it changed in the last little bit?
I'm not sure if I could say that the process has changed. It's pretty simple. It's, the same process, but there are tools that I use that provide more information to help guide me towards particular goals. I love apps. An app that I use on a daily basis, just one of them, I'll pull it up. I'd love to share this with you anytime I can share something that, let me see if you can see this on the screen. Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. Good morning. So last night, I wrote down a goal and printed it so that I could put it in front of me. And his quote was, "He who is wise does his best to overcome difficulties, but he smiles first, last, and all the time. There's no better panacea for sorrow, no better revivifying tonic than smiles. There's no greater power with which to overcome failure than a real smile. There's no more beautiful ornament one can wear than a genuine smile of peace and wisdom glowing on the face." So, wonderful quote. The reason why I think discovered that and printed it is because yesterday morning while we were preparing breakfast, we went from smiles to some frustrations uh, very quickly with the family. And so I realized the importance of the smile when I read that. And so it's a reminder. I printed it and put it on the refrigerator and printed it for my office. So it's in front of me so I can see throughout the day how important it is to smile. And if you're making phone calls, if you're in sales, or if you have a family, or if you're in a relationship, we're all kind of in that sales aspect where we're connecting. We're in relationships, and so smiles are important. So that's our reminder. It's a simple goal to smile more. So that these apps, yes, the question was, have things changed? Well, it has changed because I have more information, more tools available to me. So that is one of the apps that I use to help me understand about my goal setting for the day. Another one is the Art of Affirmation, Audible, where I use books, Enlightened Masters. So I'm getting daily quotes and scriptures from different aspects of life to help me identify what it is that I need to be intentional, so that not only can I get but also to give. Really, if I can just give, what am I wanting to give? I'm wanting to give the best possible JD Redmon that I can. And so if I find the people in my life like you are very important to me, the things that you offer to society and your family that I go, oh, I really like that. I add them to my daily goals, to my daily intentions, so that I can create the environment, the family, the office space, the collaboration that I believe provides my loved ones with the best JD possible.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. That's good. Okay. So this is we got just one more. I'll ask one question because uh, in Proverbs 15 it says, "Without counsel, plans fail, but with many advisors they succeed." So I want to ask you this last question. So how do you come about finding the right advisors to counsel you when you are making plans?
Um, I've heard so many times, you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. That's kind of easy for me to have anybody in the room. So I like to surround myself with people who are smarter, that I know have skills or knowledge that I want to learn from. So I'm not ashamed to admit that there's a lot of areas in my life where just about anyone can be smarter than me in. So when I see a quality person, I want to create a connection with them. And there's so many different ways you can do that now. I mean, Google is great about it. If you want to find out who Google thinks that you should connect with, just do a search. And when you do a search for something, they'll share with you, do you mean, or would you like to, more information on this particular subject? So, Google's great with their introductions, but anytime you hear, if you'll just be aware, anytime you hear of a book or an individual that's providing or sharing information, your neighborhoods, your churches, people in your communities. I'm on a neighborhood watch on Facebook, and this morning they had already posted, is it time to open up our beaches? When do we open up our city? What is your opinion? So, and then I like to read the comments. They may have a better idea of why we should do something, or a thought that I don't have. So that's kind of the way that I surround myself with people. And also, I love meeting with you on Saturdays. Find a group of people that you can share, your life with, that they don't have to think the same way, but have similar principles, similar similar goals. And really, our goal is just self improvement, to create the best person that we can be, and to continue to grow. If you have a family where that you never get upset, where you're always happy and you're always meeting your goals, and you don't need any help, and then still find a group, because there's other people that you can give that information to. But if you need to grow, then please, I recommend finding a group of individuals that you can share life with, and your successes and temporary failures, so that you can gain quickly ideas on how to be better in those areas. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes perfect sense. And led me to want to ask more question, because you just said that if you're meeting all your goals, and it sounds like maybe if you're doing that and you're not being stretched, maybe the intent of the goal didn't really. Do you think maybe when you reached goals easily, maybe they really were too safe because you didn't learn anything? Like, do you think if you set goals really easy, that causes you to grow and stretch?
I believe you're onto something there. I believe it's like a rubber band. They say it's only useful when it's being stretched.
Mm.
So I do believe that we should stretch our boundaries. For me, it has more to do with probably my mental capacity. My family is very emotional. Not all families are emotional. Some people are so calm. Well, I'm looking for calm in my life. I need to be more calm. My family wants me to be more calm. So if you're a person that's always calm and you never get emotionally charged conversations, then that's not a goal of yours, because you're already there. So for me, that is a goal. That's why smiling, I have to remind myself to smile. I have words in front of me like devoted, loyal, dedicated, allegiance, responsible, faithful, exceptional, extraordinary. Why? Because I want to give an extraordinary effort to my family. Right. Committed, charity. These are things that are in front of me as reminders. There may be people who are don't ever have to have those words. Maybe it has to do with food, or I have no idea. There could be a million things that people would have to put in front of them to remind them. Again, mine is intentional, purpose, attention, thought, wisdom, goodness. So whatever needs to be expanded, I would imagine those would be the words that are in front of them, to remind them, these are your goals for the day. This is how you can become a better parent, or a better significant, better partner, better employee, a better employer. I spoke to, and I'll say this, the last thing, I spoke to a dear friend of mine of 30 plus years, and he called because a Myrtle Beach native passed away. And so he just reached out to see how I was doing. And we talked about how we're affected by the COVID-19 virus. And he asked me what I'm doing. And I shared with him our meetings, and how that when we're working on a daily basis to get through the COVID-19, so that when we're finished with the COVID-19 virus, that we are better. We are better individuals. We're better employers. We're better employees. I'm a better individual, and I'm able to spend time on things that I realized that I needed to spend time on, but I didn't have, or didn't set aside the time before the COVID-19. calling my family has been a huge impact. I speak to my father where it was before maybe once or twice, in a 2-week period, where now I'm speaking to him, once or almost once a day, sometimes twice a day. And then the rest of my family, I'm staying in better touch with them. So for me, that was a neat part of what I've learned through this COVID-19 pandemic. Another thing was a book, reading a book. I shared with him From Good to Great, and he talked about the 12 families that he employs, and we talked about the importance of getting better. What kind of responsibility does he have as an employer of those 12 families to be the best employer he could be, or the best owner of a business that he could be, so that he could positively affect their lives. So that, again, I've become connected to an old friend who who's like-minded, just looking for developing skills or qualities that helps him help his employees. So that's some of the ways that we are connecting with other people.
Wow. I tell you what, I think I threw about 4 softballs, and every one of them went over the fence, probably about a good 30 or 40 feet. So it wasn't just, they didn't just make it over the fence. They had some speed going out.
I love you, buddy.
So, man, I tell you what, that was all great. Thank you for your time, and we'll do this again next week, and we'll figure out what the next topic is. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I hope some of that information is helpful.
Absolutely. Love you, bro. Talk to you soon.
Love you. Be blessed.
All right. Dude, thank you. That was good.